Hey everyone, this is video number 1 in the series of mixture and alligation. You have seen 12 videos on ratio and proportion, but in order to solve tougher problems, you must have a thorough understanding of this topic. So let us get started and understand what is this all about. Read this statement out here. It says that there are two varieties of rice, 10 rupees per kilogram and 20 rupees per kilogram, and in what ratio we should be mixing them so that price of the mixture comes out as 15 rupees per kilogram. So understanding number 1. There are two things that are being mixed and then you're getting the third thing, which is the mixture, isn't it? तभी आप mixture वाले formula को use करते हो. So what is this problem? What does this problem say? That you have got two varieties of rice, 10 rupees per kg and then 20 rupees per kg. Say 20 rupees per kg. I say that variety A is gonna cost you 10 rupees. And variety B is going to cost you 20 rupees per kilogram. What is the distance between these two values? Can I say that the gap between these two is 10? Had it been a Cartesian plane, A would have been 0, 10, B would have been 0, 20, and the distance between A and B would have been 10, right? Now, what are we looking for? We are looking for a third variety, which is C. And the price of the third variety of the mixture should be 15 rupees per kilogram. And if you look at this, point A and B are equidistant from C. The distance between A and C is 5, whereas the distance between B and C is also 5. So can I write what is the ratio of distances? The ratio of distances between these two is coming out as 1:1. What does this mean? What does this mean? That if you want 15 rupees per kilogram rice, you should be mixing 10 rupees per kilogram variety and 20 rupees per kilogram variety in equal proportion. What does that mean? जितना आप मिलाओगे पहली वाली वैरायटी उतनी ही आपको मिलानी पड़ेगी दूसरी वाली वैरायटी. इसको आप टेस्ट भी कर सकते हो. आप ये ले लो कि 1 किलोग्राम ले लो 10 rupees per kilogram, 1 kg rice of 10 rupees per kilogram and 1 kilogram rice of 20 rupees per kilogram. So we have bought 2 kilogram and कितना पैसा खर्च हो गया? 30 rupees. In 30 rupees we have made 2 kilogram. So what is going to be the price per kilogram? It is coming out as 15 rupees per kilogram. I hope you're understanding this. तो आप यहां से अभी यही समझो, अभी तक जो आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग होनी चाहिए कि A और B के बीच का जो डिस्टेंस था वो था 10. आपने बोला कि भाई चाहिए C and C is equidistant from A and B, and hence in order to get 15 rupees per kilogram, variety A and variety B should be mixed in equal proportion. Let us go to the other problem. It says that there are two varieties of rice, 10 rupees per kilogram and 20 rupees per kilogram. The same thing. 10 rupees per kilogram and 20 rupees per kilogram, and the distance between these two is 10. What does this problem say? Now we are looking for price of the mixture as 16 rupees per kilogram. So this will have to be 16. Now what is the distance between 10 and 16? So I would say that this is variety A and this is variety B, and let it be variety C. So this distance comes out as 6, and this distance 16 and 20, this distance comes out as 4. And what is going to be the ratio of distances? The ratio of distances comes out as 3:2. So should you be mixing them in 3:2 ratio if you want 16 rupees per kilogram rice? Just be mindful of this. अंडरस्टैंड, अगर आप कॉमन सेंसिकली भी देखो तो आपके पास में 10 है और 20 है, आपको चाहिए 15, तो आपने क्या बोला कि इनकी इक्वल क्वांटिटीज को मिलाना है. एंड इफ यू वांट अ प्राइस ऑफ मिक्सचर, इफ इट इज गोइंग टू बी मोर देन 15, देन ऑब्वियसली 20 किलोग्राम वाला जो क्वांटिटी है वो ज्यादा मिलाओगे. करके देख लो आप. So over here the ratio of distances comes out as 3:2, but in what ratio we are going to be mixing them? So what is that you should be doing? You should reverse this ratio. 16 वाला बनाना है, 17 वाला बनाना है, 18 वाला बनाना है, ऑब्वियसली 20 rupees per kilogram rice must be more than 10 rupees per kilogram rice. So in what ratio we should be mixing them? We should be mixing them in 2:3 ratio. अभी ना हम इसको वेरीफाई भी करके देख सकते हैं। कैसे? आप देख लो। इसका मतलब है कि मैंने बोला कि 2 किलोग्राम बना देते हैं हम 10 rupees per kilogram. In order to get 2 kilogram of 10 rupees per kilogram variety, we will have to spend 20 rupees. And let us buy 3 kilogram of 20 rupees per kilogram rice. So we will have to spend 60 rupees. So how much money that we have spent? We have spent 80 rupees in order to buy 2 plus 3, 5 kilogram rice. So 80 by 5. Aren't you getting 16 rupees per kilogram again? So what is that you're learning? You're learning that whatever is going to be the ratio of distances, in order to find in what ratio you should be mixing them, आप इसको just reverse कर रहे हो। How you didn't have to do this in the first one because 1:1, भाई 1:1 जो होगा आप इसको रिवर्स भी करके लिख दोगे तब भी तो ये 1:1 ही आएगा, right? Now, and if you understand this thing, let us try to solve this one. It says that there are two varieties of rice, 10 rupees per kilogram and 20 rupees per kilogram. Every time I am taking these two varieties, 10 rupees per kilogram and 20 rupees per kilogram, the gap between them is 10. And what is that they are asking you? They want you to find out in what ratio you should be mixing them so that price of the mixture comes out as 12.50. So what is the gap here? How much is the gap here? 2.50. And how much is the gap here? It is 7.50. So can I say that what is the ratio of distances? Ratio of distances comes out as 1:3. 2.5 is to 7.5. It is coming out as 1:3. And now you know what is to be done because it is 1:3. अगर आप इसी में बोलोगे तो इसका क्या मतलब हो गया कि this variety will have to be mixed more, which is not the case because you want 12.50 rupees per kilogram rice, and hence 10 rupees per kilogram rice should be more than that of 20 rupees per kilogram rice. So what is that we should be doing? We should reverse this ratio, and if you reverse it, it is going to come out as 3:1. So in what ratio you should be mixing them? 3:1 ratio. Can you verify this? Yes, you can verify this. What is that you should be doing? आप क्या कर दो, आप ले लो 10 rupees per kilogram वाली राइस को 3 kg. Is that okay? And 1 kilogram ले लो आप 20 rupees per kilogram. So we have spent 50 rupees in order to buy 4 kilogram, 3 kilogram of the first variety and 1 kilogram of the second variety. So 50 by 4, what is this price? This price comes out as 12.50 rupees. So probably you must also be understanding the gap between these two, over here. The gap between these two does not talk about how much the first variety is being mixed. Rather, the gap between these two is talking about how much the second variety has been mixed, because after finding out the ratio of distances, you are just reversing it, isn't it? अगर रिवर्स किया तो ये जो 1 है वो इधर आ रहा है, जो ये 3 है ये इधर जा रहा है. तो 3 क्या बता रहा है कि ये वाला कितना मिला दिया, 1 कितना बता रहा है कि ये वाला कितना मिला दिया. डू यू हैव दैट अंडरस्टैंडिंग? अभी इसको धीरे 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 हम डेवलप करते जाते हैं और फिर एक फॉर्मूला हम डिजाइन करेंगे. देयर आर टू वेराइटीज ऑफ राइस, 10 रुपीज पर किलोग्राम. अगेन यू हैव गॉट 10 रुपीज पर किलोग्राम and then you have got 20 rupees per kilogram. What do you want? The price of the mixture should be 17.50. If it will have to be 17.50, understand this distance out here is 7.5 and this distance out here is 2.50. So what is going to be the ratio of distances? Ratio of distances is coming out as 3:1. Now you're mindful that in this ratio you should not mix these two varieties. In what ratio you should be mixing them? You should be mixing them in 1:3 ratio. You just have to take a reverse of it. Now can you verify this? Yes, you can verify this. आप क्या कर दो, ये वाली वैरायटी को 1 किलो ले लो, ये वाली वैरायटी को 3 किलो ले लो. अब 3 किलो लिया तो 3 into 20 करोगे, which is coming out as 60. And if you take this one, as 1 kilogram, this will be 10. So 10 plus 60 divided by how many kilograms are we forming? 4 kilograms. So that one comes out as 70 by 4. 70 by 4 is nothing but 17.50. Does this make sense? 3-4 जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं उसमें हम सिर्फ यही बात कर रहे हैं कि आप डिस्टेंस का रेशियो लेके उसको रिवर्स कर रहे हो, बट हर बार तो आप करोगे नहीं, एंड यू माइट गेट कंफ्यूज्ड. So what should be our method? What should be our method? Understand this. I'm going to my very first problem out here, this one, and I say that what is a method that we can develop, and I say that how should we write this, and I have got two varieties, 10 rupees per kilogram. Watch this very carefully. 10 rupees per kilogram and 20 rupees per kilogram. एंड इन दोनों को मिला के मेरे को बनाना है एक मिक्सचर बनाना है, एंड द प्राइस ऑफ द मिक्सचर should be 16 rupees per kilogram. Does this make sense? Now you also understand इन दोनों के बीच का जो डिस्टेंस है वो बताता है कि ये वाला कितना हो गया, और इन दोनों के बीच का जो डिस्टेंस है वो बताता है कि ये वाला कितना हो गया. That is what you have been doing. So over here what is that we should be writing? We should be writing 20 minus 16. And how about this one? We should write this as 16 minus 10. So this one comes out as 4 and this one comes out as 6. If we simplify this, it is coming out as 2:3. आपने यही तो निकाला था 2:3 यहाँ पे, that they should be mixed in 2:3 because ratio of distances you had gotten this as 3:2. And in what ratio you wanted to mix them? So in what ratio you wanted to mix them? You wanted to mix them in 2:3 ratio. And I say that हर बार रिवर्स करने की जरूरत नहीं है. आप यहां पे क्या कर दो, आप ये वाले मेथड पे कॉन्सेंट्रेट करो जहां पे आपको क्लियरली पता है that the price of the mixture any which way is going to be more than one variety and less than the second variety. Does this make sense to you? And if this is the case, you also understand that the distance between these two actually talks about how much the first variety should be mixed, and the distance between these two talks about how much the second variety should be mixed. So आप इसको ऐसे कर दो, आपका काम खत्म हो गया. That is what is the alligation formula. आप कॉमन सेंसिकली समझो, वो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है rather than ये फॉर्मूला रटने की बजाय. Now can I apply this one over here also in the case of this one? 12.50. We want 12.50 by mixing 10 and 20. How do we do that? 10 rupees per kilogram, 20 rupees per kilogram. What are we looking for? The price of the mixture should be 12.50, right? So what is that you should be doing? Over here you should write 20 minus 12.50, and this one should be 12.50 minus 10. बड़े वाले में से छोटे वाले को घटा दो. आप ये है तो इंक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर, दिस माइनस दिस शुड बी हियर एंड दिस माइनस दिस शुड बी हियर. आपका काम चल गया यार. एंड दिस वन कम्स आउट एज 7.50, दिस वन कम्स आउट एज 2.50, and if you simplify them, what is that you're gonna get? You're gonna get 3:1. And this is what you had found out. कहां पे निकाला था हमने ये चीज? You see, this is what we had found out, 3:1 ratio. Our job is done. Now if you're understanding this thing, एक तो और भी चीज सीखने की बड़ी जरूरत है. वो क्या है कि जब आप 10 rupees per kilogram and 20 rupees per kilogram, when you're going to mix these two varieties, obviously the price of the mixture should be more than 10 and it should be less than 20. It has to be somewhere in between. It can neither be less than 10 nor it can be more than 20. If you're mixing 10 and 20 rupees per kilogram, how come you can form something which is more than 20, or how come it is going to be something which is less than 10? So you can form 11 rupees per kilogram, you can form 12 rupees per kilogram, you can form 19 rupees per kilogram, you can form 19.50 rupees per kilogram, but इससे ज़्यादा ये जा नहीं सकता. Now let us read this problem. It says that two varieties 10 rupees and 20 rupees are being mixed and the price of the mixture should be 22 rupees per kilogram. It is not possible, cannot be determined is going to be answer of this problem, right? चलो जी, ये हो गया तो these problems must be cakewalk for you. Way too simple to do that. In what ratio must a grocer mix two varieties of pulses? 15 rupees is the price of the first variety and 20 rupees per kilogram is price of the second variety, and problem says that the mixture must be of 16.50 rupees per kilogram. Simplify कर दो इसको. This minus this, over here write 3.50. 16.50 minus 15, it is coming out as how much? 1.50. So in what ratio we should be mixing them? We should be mixing them in this ratio, which is 3.50 is to 1.50. अगर आप इसको simplify करोगे तो आप क्या लिखोगे? 35 is to 15. You can multiply both of these two by 10. Multiply किया 10 से तो कितना आ गया? 35 and 15. You can divide them by 5 also. So if you divide them by 5, this is going to be 7 and this is going to be 3. So what is the real ratio? It is coming out as 7 is to 3. So in what ratio we're going to mix them? We're going to mix them in 7 is to 3. है ना simple ये problem. अच्छा, आपको ये लिखना कैसे है? That is what you need to understand. All right, we are going to this problem. It says that gold is 19 times as heavy as water and copper is 9 times as heavy as water. So what did I say? When you're mixing two things and then somehow you're trying to form a mixture, then probably you can utilize this formula. This one says that copper, and you're mixing two things, copper and gold. Copper is 9 times as heavy as water, whereas gold is 19 times as heavy as water. In what ratio we should be mixing them so that the alloy is 15 times as heavy as water? So this mixture out here, this alloy is going to be 15 times as heavy as water. What did I say? 19 minus 15, it is going to be 4. And then 15 minus 9, it comes out as 6. And if you simplify this, it is going to be nothing but 2 is to 3. Did you understand this? 4 is to 6 is nothing but 2 is to 3. अभी कई लोग ये बोलेंगे ना, how come you're writing gold, copper here and gold here? What if I would like to write gold here and copper here, which is very much understandable. Gold is 19 times as heavy as water, and as per the problem, copper is 9 times as heavy as the water, and the alloy is 15 times as heavy as the water. So either this is going to be in the decreasing order, or in the previous case it was in the increasing order. So if this is the case, still you need to be mindful that this one will have to be bigger than one and the smaller than the other. So if this is the case, I would write here, I would write 15 minus 9. I'm going to subtract the smaller from the bigger. That is it. And over here it is going to be 19 minus 15. And if that is the case, this one comes out as 6 is to 4, which is nothing but 3 is to 2. So what is 3 is to 2? 3 is to 2 is in what ratio gold and copper should be mixed. So gold and copper should be mixed in 3 is to 2 ratio. Or you might say that in what ratio copper and gold should be mixed. Again, the answer was 2 is to 3 ratio. Both of them are the same thing, isn't it? So these two would get you the same thing. So never ever get confused by them. Let us try to solve this problem. In what ratio must T 62 rupees per kilogram T, the first variety, and the price of the second variety out here is 72 rupees per kilogram, and the price of the mixture is given to you as 64.50. So now you understand what is that you should be doing. Over here it has to be 72 minus 64.5. So this is going to be 7.50. How are we getting 7.50? This value minus this value. And over here this is going to be 64.50 minus this. So 2.50. What is going to be this ratio? This ratio comes out as 3 is to 1. In what ratio we are mixing? We are mixing in 3 is to 1 ratio. Aren't these problems very simple? अब दिखने में बड़ा लग रहा है, but अगर आपके पास ये अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो गई that you are mixing two things and then you are finding the mixture, और आप ये methodology जानते हो, आपका काम हो गया. So these were the very simple problems. In the second video, we are going to be solving some better problems from this topic. I hope that you're understanding this one. I'm going to see you in the second one. Till then, bye bye and take care.